This is the fastest three-pointer in NBA history.
Donovan Mitchell and Garland, Darius Garland, right from the top.
But this is actually the least impressive record in this video. From playing 69 minutes in a game to making more buzzer beaters than I can count. These are NBA players with unbreakable records.
Curry fires up a three and it goes! Play for three!
And first, we have to talk about Carmelo Anthony, because he set a record so crazy you wouldn't believe it if it wasn't filmed. On December 10th in 2008, Melo played against the Timberwolves, when all of a sudden he caught fire. Whatever move he was using on his defender, he was literally not missing.
And then they lost the handle. Carmelo to tie! Yes! Carmelo fires away. Oh! A big shot for Melo! There's the weakness. Carmelo. And Carter out to Carmelo. Carmelo fires again.
Carmelo scored 26 consecutive points. He was not missing for like 10 minutes straight. Not only did that get his team the win, it also put his name in the record books, since no one was able to beat that. But while Melo's record is very impressive, the next one is just straight up embarrassing. Because one NBA player had a performance that was so terrible, you and me would have had more impact if we had played. See, everyone has some bad games where shots are not falling and you just can't find your rhythm. But what Joel Anthony did cannot even be described with words. On January 9th, 2011, he scored 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 blocks and 0 steals in 29 minutes. I don't know what this guy was doing, but he was not playing basketball. Anthony was literally just walking for almost an entire game and set an unbreakable record while doing so. But our next record is so unbreakable it couldn't even get measured. Take a guess at which NBA player has scored the most dunks ever. Well, the answer is actually Dwight Howard. The sad truth is that he has more dunks than I have subscribers, with 2,950. The only problem is that this fact is wrong.
This third quarter. Howard blocked by O'Neal.
The NBA started tracking dunks in 1996 when Shaquille O'Neal, who is second in career dunks, already played 4 seasons. So we don't know the exact number of Shaq, but since he already has over 2,600 dunks without these 4 years, it's no question that he scored over 3,000 and is the true dunking champion.
Baseline runs out of real estate. Oh, he O'Neal fakes. At the Spectre in January, he's got 20.
I mean, who's gonna stop this 7'1" giant anyways? By the way, since Michael Jordan played most of his career before 1996, he only has recorded 41 career dunks. That's just disrespectful. But not as disrespectful as Klay Thompson, because he once had a breakout game where he basically didn't dribble. On December 5th, 2016, the Warriors faced the Pacers, and Klay was absolutely cooking. He scored bucket after bucket and ended up with 60 points. But wait, this isn't even the crazy part. He did so while only dribbling 11 times, setting an unbreakable record. Klay basically said, "Give me the ball and I'll shoot it," and it worked.
For a second. Klay Thompson. Klay went to the three-point line and dropped in another one. Didn't choose to take it. Oh, Klay's feeling it now. About that in a second. Klay's three. There it is. We're having fun. Klay for three. Good. Klay corner three. 60.
By the way, Thompson only played 29 minutes that night. That's just incredible. But there's actually an NBA player who played more than twice as much in one game. Have you ever heard about Dale Ellis? Nope, well, me neither. He played for the Seattle Supersonics in the 80s and 90s. So on November 9th, 1989, the Supersonics played against the Bucks. The game had 5 overtimes, which is very rare, but other than that, it was a normal game. Until Ellis decided to become superhuman and play for 69 minutes. This guy just decided that stamina isn't a factor for him anymore. If we think about how often players sit out in today's NBA, this record really seems unbreakable. But another player who belongs on this list is Kobe Bryant. He He has more records than we can even count. But there is one that stands out, because throughout his career, the Black Mamba has scored 8 game-winning buzzer beaters. And let me tell you, they are awesome.
Bryant for the win.
Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in.
Man, Kobe was just a different breed. It feels like the older he got, the better he played. But our next player is so old, LeBron is a teenager in comparison to him. Because there's actually a player who had his debut in the NBA at an age at which professional athletes are already retired. For this record, we have to go all the way back to 1948. This guy is Ned Hickey. He served as a coach, but when some players were injured, he decided to take their spot and played 2 games for the team. That means Hickey had his NBA debut at 45 years old. He was basically a grandpa. But speaking of weird records, there's another one. Because there's one player who scored for both teams in the same game. And nope, that doesn't mean accidentally scoring in your own bucket. Let me explain. In a 1978 game between the Nets and the Sixers, one player and one coach were ejected because of bad officiating. In fact, it was so bad that the Nets filed a protest after the game. The NBA then decided that the last quarter would be played again, but because of their busy schedule, they did it on the same evening. But wait, before the repeated final quarter, the 2 teams decided to make a trade. That included one player named Eric Money. And after he already scored over 20 points for the Nets, he scored another 4 points for the Sixers in the same game. This record is definitely unbreakable. But something else that can be broken is Stephen Curry's clutchness, because what he did to the Trailblazers also became a record. In 2016, the Warriors faced the Blazers in the playoffs, and in Game 4, the Blazers had the lead pretty much all game, until Curry came in.
Zazili up pressuring the ball against Plumlee. Curry, easy bucket for Plumlee. Curry, got it now.
Curry left wide open. Screen comes Curry. Some ball handling, fires up a 3.
Not only did he force the game into overtime, he then decided that the game was already over by scoring 17 points in the additional 5 minutes and getting the win for his team. No wonder Kobe smacked him on the cheeks after playing like this. Speaking of Kobe, there's another unbreakable record he holds. When he played on the Lakers without Shaq, people often criticized him for being selfish and not giving up the ball enough. But he was definitely not passing to some guys who couldn't shoot or create their own shot. Even I would have shot better than them. Okay, maybe not. But in one game, Kobe showed that he was right for doing so.
Sight there of where the rim was when he went up.
One, and now Kobe hit on his way up versus in the corner. That is his 5th board. Inside he goes. Now Kobe for 3. I don't believe it.
The Mamba scored 62 points without an assist. And as if this wasn't enough, he did so in only 3 quarters. Now that's what I call an unbreakable record. Now we only have a few more records to go, with the last one being the most unbreakable, so stick until the end. But for now, things are getting embarrassing again. Because there was one NBA player who set a record because he was literally a worse free throw shooter than Shaq. We again have to go back to 1948, where in one game, a guy named 𝐺𝐽 was sent to the line 20 times. Take a guess at how many free throws he made. 0, not even 1. I wonder if this guy was even shooting. He missed 20 consecutive free throws and put himself in the record books. If the game was on the line, I'd rather have Shaq standing there. But let's stick with free throws for a second, because there's one NBA player with a record where I don't know if it's awesome or embarrassing. In the 2002 and 3 season, Bruce Bowen set a record that was never done before and will most likely never happen again. He became the only player ever to have a higher percentage in 3-pointers than free throws. But what's even more stunning are his numbers. He shot over 44% on threes, which is basically Stephen Curry level, and just 40% from the free throw line, which is, again, worse than Shaq and the other guy we just talked about. Maybe he was watching my videos while shooting free throws, who knows? By the way, if you enjoyed this video, you could help me by subscribing to the channel, but now let's move on. The last two players were very poor shooters from the line, but Jamal Murray didn't even need to because of the record he set in our next case.
Drummond's 2020 games are productive. Long range, Murray again!
Murray scored 50 points without one single free throw. Scoring 50 is doable for some players, but doing so while hitting more than 80% of your shots and without getting even one free throw makes it that much more unbreakable. Now, while Murray's record was brilliant, the next one is just straight up confusing. Because in one game, a guy named 𝐀𝐨𝐙𝐿 Butler had the following stats: 0 minutes played and 1 turnover. I think this needs some explanation. With 4 seconds remaining, Butler checked into the game and was inbounding the ball. He managed to get a 5-second violation on the inbound because he wasn't fast enough and was checked out of the game right after that. That means he didn't even play and still got his team a turnover. That's kinda weird, but definitely a record that will never be broken. Alright, we only have 3 more records to go, and the last one is surely the most remarkable. But now we have to talk about a feat that is as rare as Shaq missing a dunk or Michael Jordan not winning. See, many great players have managed to get a triple-double, meaning they had double digits in 3 categories, most commonly points, rebounds and assists. Some guys like Russell Westbrook even have averaged a triple-double for a whole season. But what almost no one was able to do is to achieve a quadruple-double. In fact, only 4 players in NBA history had a game with double digits in 4 categories: Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Nate Thurmond and Alvin Robertson.
Olajuwon 13 inside Robertson to Mitchell. Mitchell with a little hook up and reach, scores. Left side of the ball, Matthews. Gets by Ellis.
The fact that only 4 players have done this shows how incredibly difficult it is to break that record. Meanwhile, our next record might be even harder to break. Not because of the required skill level, but something else. Because former NBA player Bobby Jones played for 5 different teams in 1 year. He was being passed around more than a Kardashian. In the 2007 and 8 season, he played for the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Rockets, Heat and Spurs. That's just insane. But now it's time to talk about our last record, because it is so unique it goes beyond basketball. This is Gene Conley, and he definitely had a passion for sports. In 1952 he was drafted into the NBA, but instead of playing there, he pitched in the Professional Baseball League, MLB. There he won a championship with the Milwaukee Braves. But after having finished with baseball, he decided to go back to the NBA, play for the Celtics and win 3 consecutive championships. This makes him the only player in the history of sports to win both a championship in the highest baseball and basketball league. If that isn't an unbreakable record, then I don't know what is. So now you know about players with unbreakable records, but there's still something you're missing. These are NBA players who hate each other, and if you don't know them, you'll miss out on something. So click on the video, I'll see you there.